We are VIMTV Velocities and Music. Today we're going to do another one of the albums from back in 2010. We're going to do STP's Stone Temple Pilots, self-titled. This is the first album Stone Temple Pilots have come out with since 2001, Shangri-La-Dee-Da.
Terrible album name. Terrible!
They had to take 9 years off after that one. So now they're back. They came out with this new album. It has a much more classic rock vibe. It's 12 songs. I'm gonna let Tom's a big STP fan. I like STP. I like their sound more than anything. But Tom's a big fan, so I'm gonna let him take it away.
Yeah, STP was one of my favorite bands growing up. 1992's Core is a staple in the grunge scene, I guess, which is actually funny because a lot of critics just wrote them off and hated them for ripping off like Alice in Chains and even Pearl Jam and stuff.
I'd say the closest thing is Pearl Jam.
Yeah,
personally.
yeah, but they're a little heavier, they're a little thicker, right. Not quite as, a little more hard rock and a little less alternative, at least in the beginning, but they started to soften up by 1994's Purple and 1996's Tiny Music. By then they were using, instead of a lot of the thicker like power chords, they were going for a lot of the mid-range and high-end kind of, just kind of thrashy, strummed, full chords, and you know, and Scott Weiland, the vocalist, in his vocal delivery definitely softened things up a little bit. They got a little more sentimental, a little less dramatic, I guess. But with this one, self-titled in 2010, they definitely do move to more of the classic rock sound. I know that's something that Jake pointed out also, and that's, I mean, it's just kind of undeniable. Maybe that has something to do with Scott Weiland's stint with Velvet Revolver, where he was working with the instrumentalists from Guns N' Roses, because, I mean, Guns N' Roses is by now one of the, you know, seminal classic rock bands, even though, you know, they're kind of more at the 80s, end of the classic rock phase, you know, but they definitely have that sound, especially in the guitars, and you get that a lot more here. Some interesting things, though. One thing that I actually didn't like a lot about this album is the production, actually. I felt like it was really mid-rangey. And it was
it's loud.
Yeah, from what I read, it was actually produced by the DeLeo brothers, the bassist and the guitarist. They kind of worked on that together. And I was like, okay, you know, that kind of makes sense. And you know what? For just two members of the band producing it, it's not that bad. That kind of explains it. I mean, but at the same time, it's still there. It's still, you can't ignore it, and it's just kind of eh. But really, I mean, this album, it's okay. But to me, as an STP fan, it's barely passable. I don't mind listening to it. It's enjoyable enough for me to not be completely pissed off. But just the plain fact of the matter is, there's only a few standout tracks, and the rest just kind of wash together. And it's just, you know, for a band that's been around now for like 20 years, and they've done some really great things, there's no need to be coming out with stuff like this. There just isn't. Yeah, it's just lowering the quality of their discography.
Here's the deal. I was really looking forward to this one. I've been wanting to review this all year. At the time when it came out, we didn't do it because, you know, when Velocities and Music started last February, we were doing 2009 albums, and then halfway through the year we switched into 2010. So we've been playing catch up all year, and hopefully can be current with 2011 going forward. So we put this one on the back burner until now. So I was pumped up to listen to it. I've been waiting all year. And I'm so pissed off! It sucks! It's nowhere near what I wanted it to be, what I thought it was going to be. I heard this awesome, ex-grunge band, and then in 2010, coming out with the returning to the scene, and it just didn't cut it. Every song on this album is verse, chorus, Bieber, chorus. It's pathetic! It's pathetic!
Well, and especially given the context that these guys don't need to rely on stuff like that. I mean, from what I read, they feel comfortable, they're doing what they want to do, but yeah, this is too comfortable.
Yeah.
For guys that have been doing this for so long, they need to just come out with something that just hauls ass again and does something different, like their old stuff
I think STP is the quintessential full rock band sound. I mean, it's what we've all grown accustomed to. I actually like that they're doing the whole classic rock vibe, which I know will probably piss some of you fans off. I'm interested to what you guys think about the whole classic rock vibe, so leave us a comment. But you know, what the problem is that when even if you have a good sound and good songwriting and good guitar playing and instrumentals, which is all present on this album, don't get me wrong, that's my favorite part about this and what's keeping it out of the 40s for me. But when you have when this cacophonous verse chorus format on every song, it's verse chorus, guitar bridge, chorus. I mean, it's just bland as hell. And when you do that for 12 tracks in a row, it gets so predictable. When the lyrics don't really try to reach out to any themes, in fact, I think they're subpar most of the time. I think everything just blends together, and all these songs tend to sound the same. There's very few highlights. I feel what it really feels like to me is that STP got back together, the record label sat them down and said, here's the deal. Your fans are a lot older now. A lot older. So they're going to be more mature, they're going to be less crazy and angst-ridden, they're going to want something more straightforward, and in order to get you back into the scene, we want to get you some new fans, and how we're going to do that is by making radio-friendly hits. Yeah. And that's what this album is. It's radio-friendly rock songs. It's the same concept, it's the same pop structures that Justin Bieber uses, it's the same, it's crappy. I'm sorry, but you gotta put in more than that. You're better than that, STP. Come on!
Which is interesting because I actually had a big dispute with their record company before this album came out. Like there's this big like almost lawsuit and stuff, but they ended up settling it out, and then they came out with this album, which is kind of weird because it's like I thought that whole thing was settled.
Absolutely.
But one thing I have to point out that I just can't get over is in the first track, Between the Lines, the bridge sounds exactly like Stay Away by Nirvana from their album Nevermind. Like, the vocals are almost exactly the same. And I'm like, you had to realize that because Scott Weiland was writing stuff in the same time Kurt Cobain was.
In track 3, Huckleberry Crumble, it sounds exactly like Aerosmith. It does. The guitar riff is straight out of an Aerosmith song. And I think this whole album kind of sounds like Aerosmith. It's just not as good. This one really was a disappointment for me. But I don't know what else to say about it. I think if you like this album, that's good. And I'm sure you're an STP fan. You just like the sound. I like all those things too. It's just as an album, it doesn't cut it for me. Now I would recommend that you guys, if you like this album, go listen to Widespread Panic's Dirty Side Down, because that one I think is a better album than this, and quite good, similar sounds. Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna give it a 56.
I'm going to give it a 60.
It's just not that strong. There's a lot of things that need to be improved. It needs more variety, keep it interesting, better lyrics maybe, a whole bunch of stuff. Now, songwriting, like we said, is good. The guitar work is great. It's what you would expect from a band like STP, right? Mm-hmm. All right. What do you guys think? Did you like this album? No? Yes? Why? Tell us. www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. It's getting, looks like a 58 from Velocities. Mm-hmm. So, sorry we didn't like it. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities and Music, moving music critique forward.